Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yay.
Dan loves Christmas.
It's December. It's beginning to feel a lot like chaos. So anyway, we're at this period between Thanksgiving and Christmas. The year is winding. And you know, one of the things I love about this time of the year is that we start seeing, you know, the list. Like I always watch the news on the 31st of December because it scrolls through everybody that died during the year.
Yes.
I have a couple of sick friends that they get together on January 1st and they make predictions on who's going to croak in the next year.
serious?
I'm serious. They do this.
Wow.
And then they get a prize at the end of the year that who died.
That's funny.
They like that.
I have an interesting question for you. Do you like odd years better or even years better?
I have never one time thought of the difference.
Wait, do people have a preference between those things?
Like years, like odd years have an energy, and even
In
years
my world,
have an
all my
energy.
years are odd.
Even years often come with elections, so maybe odd years would be better for me
I
right
love
now.
even years for some reason. Even years just feel like fun to me.
You're weird, Ben.
Interesting.
Anyway, my name is Dan. I'm one of the teaching pastors at Life Fellowship in Charlotte. I'm with Ben, who is just one of our favorite people on the planet. Used to be the co-host and former lead pastor here at Charlotte. And then we've got Josh Brom, who is the founder and president of the Equal Rights Institute and also the producer for Life Talks. And Josh, we've asked you to crack open the
vault.
the
Yes.
vault of and go back about 11 months when Ben and I, unknowing what all would unfold during this year, including his decision to move to the full frozen tundra of northern Michigan.
That's true. No one would have predicted that.
Nope.
Yeah. So, and we made some predictions, and now it's that time of the year where we want to go over them. So, would you, drum roll, please, do the honor of reminding us of what we said?
Yeah, so I want to thank Abby Gordon, the production coordinator, because he helped with the
Thank you,
research on
Abby.
this and helped kind of do some research to kind of find some of this. But you guys made a lot of predictions. I rewatched it this morning, made some notes.
Very nice.
And so here's what I've got: is we're going to go through these one by one. If you got a prediction right, then you're going to hear that.
Oh.
If you got a prediction wrong, you're going to hear that.
I'm going to hear that a lot.
I needed a kind of a mixed, partially right option, and that's a lot harder to find. So the best I could get is just this. It's just like one ding. It's not.
I see what you're
It's not a
saying.
chime, it's a ding.
This is supposed to be the audio version of. It's like kind of right, unpredictable. It's like something like that.
All right, I like that.
Okay. So
I like that.
here's Ben's first prediction.
Okay.
On politics, you thought that the combination of third-party candidates' votes would surpass third-party numbers that Perot got. So you thought there would be more than 19% of the vote would go towards third-party candidates.
Let's hear it.
Which all came up to about
Fail.
2%, roughly at most.
But let's just be honest. If the Democrats would not have sabotaged RFK Jr.'s presidency run, I think he would have pulled numbers from both Trump and Biden.
So I think
That's
that
why he
might be
dropped
more.
out. I don't think he would have dropped out if he was.
He literally sued some states to get himself off ballots, and then sued other states to try to get on them. It was probably kind of complicated, but either way, that one didn't end up
I had
work.
great hopes for RFK Jr., but
So that's false prediction number one. And also, you thought that we would not know who the president was.
I remember that
until the year 2025.
Yeah.
And that chaos would ensue again, like in 2020. And we are so happy to say that is one thing that did not come true.
I'm so glad that did not come true.
Do not take Ben to Las Vegas with you.
Dan, well, I don't know if you want to be saying that so soon, Dan. So your predictions were that Joe Biden would win the re-election and that Trump would dispute it. So that didn't happen because obviously Biden
If he had,
dropped
he
out.
still would have disputed it. Though. I contend I was half right.
Yes, but we didn't end up in that situation. You did say, though, that and this happened quickly, but I'm going to treat this as its own prediction. You said that Democrats would go into the election overly confident because they are increasingly out of touch. I'm going to give that a yes, because I think a lot of even experts on the left have been saying this is a party. There's a problem of an increasing kind of separation between
echo
quote
chamber,
unquote intellectual elites and working class.
Okay.
So that one is true.
Good job,
so
Dan.
you've got
I had 1 point.
You also said that the House would go back under control of the Democrats. That's false.
But you got to admit, it's still stinking close.
So it's 53 to 47 right now, right?
No, that's the Senate.
On. Oh, sorry.
I predicted the Senate would stay Republican, I think.
So you said that, okay, I'm sorry. So you're right. So Senate. So you said the Senate would be a tie, or that maybe the GOP would have one vote more. And in that case, you were also wrong. It's 53 to 47.
A single ding on that?
I got my notes wrong.
No.
Close. The GOP. So we've got 219 in the House over 213 seats, I think, with three seats yet to be called. So I think you're wrong on both counts.
Oh, that's
so he had a lot more predictions than I. So
He did.
So what I need to do is make more predictions.
No, that means Dan needs to have fewer opinions. But we've been saying that for 6 years.
You're a pessimist predictor when it comes to politics. You always are. I mean, as long as I've known you, you're like.
Well, you know why? You know my philosophy on this. I've told you my philosophy. You don't know my philosophy on this?
No. It's going to go worse than you think?
Yeah, if you assume the worst and it doesn't, you feel great about yourself. If you assume if you assume the best and it goes bad, then you feel bad. So I'd rather be surprised.
Okay. Assume worst. Yeah, hope for the best. Okay. You also thought, though, that a primary factor of the election would be the abortion issue, which I'm going to put as partially true. Like, it definitely was a part of the election. Kamala Harris's campaign made it a huge part of the campaign, but in the end, when we're looking at the post-election polls, I think we're seeing that the
economy
and immigration were the first two things, and that I would think the Democrats wish that abortion played a bigger role in how people voted, because generally speaking, when people have been voting
put
on
a lot
abortion,
of chips on that one, because remember the ads during the last 3 or 4 weeks, they were almost all straight.
Yeah. Well, and they also tried to tie abortion initiatives to certain states that they were hoping to turn blue. And what people were like, I'm going to vote for abortion and Trump. And it was like that had no bearing on what party they were going to vote for.
Moving to cultural societal predictions, Ben, I don't know what to do with this one, but I
think it's a negative.
Vaguely predicted that Christian artists would create better movies than their secular counterparts in the coming years. I don't even know how to verify or measure that.
That's kind of a future prediction. That's kind of like.
So, have you gone to see it? Because right now in theaters, Bonhoeffer. Did you go to see it?
I'm going to see it tomorrow with my wife.
Well, let me know what you think.
Okay.
Because I haven't decided whether to see it yet. Have you seen it?
No. Is Eric Metaxas
You've gone to see Wicked, but you haven't seen Bonhoeffer?
No, I haven't seen the movie Wicked. I took Hannah to the musical a long time ago. Oh, okay. At the time, I thought we were talking about that.
You're forgiven.
I did see Gladiator 2 because Gladiator 1 is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
What did you think of Gladiator 2?
I wish it had been better, but I really liked some of the scenes, and I loved that. I mean, as soon as I saw in the trailer that there was going to be a naval battle scene in the Coliseum, I was like, I have to see it just because that is a thing that maybe not the Coliseum, but naval battles in Gladiator.
Have you ever been to the Coliseum?
No,
it's
I've never
amazing.
been to Rome.
I've been a couple of times. It's amazing.
Love to.
So let me ask you this: if Gladiator is like one of your, what is your favorite?
Oh, I don't know if I can say like a number one favorite. Come on. Are you hoping to say Saving Private Ryan? Is that the one you're going for? Nope. What's the one that you would hope that
it's
I would
mine,
say?
And I need you to say it.
What is yours?
Braveheart.
So no. So here's the thing. Okay.
Man, the answer so fast. It's like, I didn't think of that one. No, you said no.
You just set up a 2-minute tangent. But here's the problem with Braveheart: is I love history. And I care a lot about when movies that are sort of based on historical stories, like I care more about them being based on historical fact and reality than I do like amazing like dialogue or drama, because it's like people learn their history a lot of times these ways. And there, like, it is no like historians of all the movies based on historical anything, like on a range of true to hilariously false. Braveheart sort of constantly gets the number one worst. It is so historically inaccurate. It's not even funny.
There was a battle.
The clothes are 200 years off.
So you know how I solved that.
The best thing. They have the battle at Stirling Bridge. It's one of the most important things that happens in William Wallace's lifetime. Yes. And in the movie, there is no bridge.
Oh,
there is
true.
no bridge. And actually, you need the whole reason, part of the reason why William Wallace won, you got me going, won the Battle of Stirling Bridge is he used that as a choke point. He made it so that all of the English had to try to get all over this one bridge, and they just hacked them to pieces on the other end of it. That's part of how they won. In the movie, there's no bridge at the Battle of Stirling Bridge.
How about that? Now you can never watch Braveheart ever again.
Well, no, here's my dilemma, because I honestly just enjoyed the movie. I never studied the history.
It's a good movie.
So now I've got to go study the history.
No, don't do it. Ignorance is bliss.
You've ruined me, Josh. You've ruined me.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah,
I've been to Edinburgh. I've seen the statue of William Wallace. I've seen the Scottish crown of thorns.
Let's hear your Scottish accent.
I'm not doing a Scottish accent.
Come on, do a Scottish accent.
No, I'm not doing it.
Please,
when you make me do things that I don't want to do it.
Oh, he's 12 years old. All right, what's our next question?
All right, so I'm going to call Christian artists creating better movies and secular counterparts unverifiable.
Can you give any example of a movie that's come out in the last 12 months or a TV show or whatever that, and if you say anything that has the word Hallmark in it, I'm going to jump across this table at you.
I don't think I've ever seen a Hallmark movie in my life.
Yay, that was
in my entire life.
You do not love your wife.
My wife hates Hallmark movies. Like,
well, you married a good woman.
Nice.
My wife would rather watch a show on Navy SEALs than Hallmark.
Oh, wow. That's pretty
I'm not kidding you.
That's a keeper.
That's a keeper.
I'm just telling you, my wife loves the military. She loves Navy SEALs. She loves war movies. She just loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's cool. All right, Dan, you had a few predictions. I don't know what to do with this one. I'm hoping maybe you're coming in with some information that I don't have. But here was your prediction, was that there would be financial disruption connected to housing prices, and that personal debt would occur, resulting in a major adjustment to housing prices and how we get a higher education.
Yeah, I was too quick at the trigger on that. I think that's still coming. It's just not here yet.
I think that is going to be true of a few of your answers. I think you're right on the trajectory.
But the point is, he got it wrong.
But it's unverifiable. It's sort of kind of
give me another year.
I'm going to put.
Press the button.
It's a probably.
No.
It's probably.
What do you mean probably? Hit that. No.
Hey, you are not the judge. You are the contestant.
First of all, you're not Nostradamus, Josh.
This is true.
And apparently, I really am not.
This is true. So I don't know how to verify. I didn't even know how to. I don't know how to research that. I know that housing prices are worse.
Josh, just buzz him.
Forbes says that housing prices are going to keep on getting worse, but they will probably slow down in how much worse they get next year. So that feels like he's more correct than false.
I feel like it's a house of cards. No mixed metaphors intended. But at this point,
you think housing prices are going to crash at some point?
I think they have the potential to crash.
When? Because I'm going to buy a house soon.
Imminently. They're going down a little bit now. But it depends on what part of like in Florida, they're going down rapidly. But that's unrelated to interest rates.
Buzz him right now, Josh. Buzz him. Yes.
All right. I just don't even know how to score that one. I think there are a few that maybe should have called fouls as you were going. Like, how am I supposed to verify that later? Anyway, here's another one, though. There would be a lot of merging of streaming services, or that some would go out of business. And I'm going to give that a partially true. No, that was a Dan prediction.
Wait, well, how is that true?
It's happening.
It's already happening. So there has been some bundling of streaming services. So you've got ESPN, Fox, and Warner Brothers. There's the Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus thing. There's some merging. You haven't seen any, as far as I know, like actually go out of business. So again, I would rate that as
you have. You? CNN.
Well, CNN streams.
They had a streaming news service.
It's CNN's Plus.
It lasted about 3 weeks.
That was like 2022.
No, it wasn't. It was earlier this year. Chris Wallace left and started it.
All right.
So if it's a streaming service that has gone out of business, and I feel like it's a partially true.
And we also see
and
the owners of MSNBC and some of the major are starting to spin off their cable TV.
I heard Elon Musk might buy MSNBC. Did you hear that?
I think he's toying with Michelle Maddow or whatever it is.
Don't tell me what Elon Musk is planning on doing. Okay, so next, Dan said that malls would disappear rapidly. So I did some research on this. This is kind of interesting, and I would rate this ultimately a partially true as well. I don't think we're seeing it as as rapid escalation or de-escalation.
What category was this? Was this a financial?
We called this cultural/societal. You guys weren't super organized in the way that you did this. I'm working with what
I love this how I gave like one prediction and Dan gives like 5.
There was a lot of that. Yes.
Yeah, but I would also note that the North Lake Mall in Charlotte, North Carolina, is for sale.
Really?
Yes, it is.
And that's probably been coming for a while.
Yeah,
though,
it's
right?
empty. I mean, because the Apple Store left and a bunch of the major chain stores left.
So the United States is home to an estimated 1,150 malls, and some sources project that by 2032 there may be as few as 150 still in operation.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
So there's projections that indicate that up to 87% of them may close over the next 10 years.
What are they going to do with them? Are they going to tear them down?
But then there's some, and I didn't have enough time to do this part of the research, but then there's some people kind of talking about like maybe some malls might have kind of may do a interesting pivot that might help bring some people back, maybe by doing more kind of cool in-person live entertainment type stuff. Maybe like there seems to be some people that are like, we're going to try to help some malls make a comeback.
There's nothing in me that wants to go to a mall ever.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I'm scared to go to the malls because there's always shootings going on and that kind of stuff.
I mean, we're in Charlotte area.
Only reason I go to the mall is to go to the movies.
Yeah, me too.
But Dan, you also though said that retirees would be forced to go to work or work longer, and Social Security would grow more precarious or can't keep up with inflation. I feel like that is a true one based on what I can tell. So when I saw 13% of retired seniors say that they are likely to re-enter the job market in 2025, and the key reasons behind that: 69% cost of living, 42% boredom, 39% rising housing costs, and 34% need to pay off non-medical debt. So 3 out of 4 of those are financial related. And
I'm within 10 years of retirement myself, so
you're scared?
I'm going
to scare you.
I'm not scared, but I'm concerned. But then again, I will always have a job, so I'm never going to. I would just quit one of my 2 jobs.
Okay, all right,
maybe.
Going back to Ben, so then we moved to the church. And Ben, you predicted that it is going to get harder for churches to find qualified pastors, and churches will have to lower their standards or train from within to raise up for future leadership.
That was an easy one.
That feels unverifiable. I imagine you're right. Do you know, can you tell me about what you've learned in the last year about that trend continuing? I didn't know how to research that one.
It's true.
Like, I believe it's probably true. Can you give me something?
So Dan, you have had conversations with an organization like Vanderbloemen, who's running our church.
We're literally looking for his position,
and they would probably confirm that.
Yeah, I mean, in the coaching that we've had as we were searching for that, they you have to pay more, or you're going to have to not be so insistent they have this level of education. There's fewer out, and I mean, one of the things the elders have tasked me with moving forward before I do retire in 2060, that I work on an intern program so we can develop more of our team from inside. But yeah, I think that was a very accurate one. Everything I'm seeing in my world of academia and seminary level is that way.
I have no, in research you can have quantifiable numbers and you have qualitative information. All my data is qualitative, just the people I've talked to.
So that'd be anecdotal.
So like
but research is either quantitative numbers like hard data, or the qualitative is your experience.
Well, conclusions reached merely by experience that hasn't been measured is anecdotal.
No, you can measure experience.
I do this for a living.
I'm just telling you, I wrote a paper on qualitative research.
Okay, talking to my buds is not research.
No,
that's anecdotal.
If you have 20 people that took a certain drug or went through a certain kind of therapy, you can measure what their experience was like. And over a meta-analysis of qualitative research
that was published and peer-reviewed?
Yes.
Really?
It's everywhere.
Well, that's research.
20 people?
No, I'm throwing out. I'm just throwing out.
I feel like that's where the devil's in the details.
So 1,000 people were interviewed with their experience.
Isn't that in a quantitative?
99.
No, qualitative.
99% of statistics are made up on the
I literally took a class called Research Methods.
I did too, and the fact I passed that is the fact that prayer.
Can I read you my paper?
So we're gonna give Ben a true on it's getting harder for churches to find qualified pastors. So he has his first correct prediction.
Thank you.
Dan predicted that there will be a confrontation within evangelism that addresses evangelicalism. Thank you. There will be a confrontation within evangelicalism that addresses the nationalization and politicization of the American church. That feels mostly false to me at this point, given the way the election went.
I was wishful thinking.
Yeah, I think you're wishful. I think the evangelical churches lay down like a...
Say it.
I don't know. They just lay down.
Cheap toupee.
They just lay down like a cheap toupee.
Like an animal that gives up.
like roadkill. Like a boneless chicken.
There was no confrontation. There was no battle for the soul of evangelicalism, Dan.
There's a few.
You could have let it. You could have let it, Dan.
Yeah, I'm too tired.
You could have started your blog again. Worldviews.
Go read Russell Moore, Tim Alberta, David French. There's people that are talking about these things in important ways. And then, Dan, your other prediction on this was that there would be an intense increase in attacks on homeschooling, specifically religious homeschooling. I couldn't find anything on that. Do you know anything?
I see some signs. I read an article last week on it. Some of the same tired old arguments. I also think the election put that one to bed for at least another 4 years.
Okay, so we're going to.
But what we are seeing is more and more states, and I think this is an election consequence. You're going to see an expansion of school choice, and opportunity scholarships. North Carolina just passed a $50 million bill, I think, expanding it last week. So I think you're going to see that.
Now we get to my favorite category: your sports predictions. Ben. You predicted that the Super Bowl would be the 49ers versus the Bills, and the 49ers would win. Nope. It was the 49ers versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs won 25-22. You also make sure I get this. That's where I go. You also predicted that the U.S. men's soccer team would make it to the semifinals in Copa America and beat Brazil. Nope. The U.S. did not make it to the Copa America semifinals.
So bad in the Copa America.
You made it to the third match day and lost to Uruguay.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was a horrible tournament.
Yep.
Man. Dang.
You also predicted that the Washington Commanders would change their name again. That turned out to be false. There's been a couple of interesting articles about this I was able to pull up. So they have not made a name change yet. But there has been a poll of their fans. 58% of their fans either dislike or hate it.
Yes, I told you.
And only 16% think that it should stay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what I read when I'm reading the coaches who are like, we're putting this to bed for now.
Right.
We're not going to address a name change the next couple of years. We're going to try to focus on winning football games.
So as a fan,
reasonable.
All right. So as a fan of the team, I can tell you they're putting this off until they get their stadium deal done. Did you know that?
I knew they were building a new stadium.
So that once they get their stadium deal done, then they just don't want to do anything controversial with the name until they get
there is a movement by the family and the tribe of the person. The emblem.
Yeah.
And that they're going to at least make it a part of their history. They're not going to erase it completely.
Right.
And we in the Midwest, being proud members of the Chiefs Kingdom, don't care.
Ben's final sports prediction was that in the Olympics, the Chinese would win the let me say that again.
The medal
blooper. Ben also predicted that in the Olympics that the Chinese would win the medal count, and that turned out to be false. The U.S. won the medal count at 126, with China coming in second place at 91.
Oh, not even close.
Although both the U.S. and China tied at gold medals with 40.
Because, I've always wondered about that too. Doesn't that, really, when it comes down to it, it's the gold medals that count.
Yeah, but I think it's all...
there's a lot of silver and bronze medal.
When you ask certain websites, they measure by gold. Some measure by total medals. So it just depends. But so the whole lesson is: do not take me to Vegas.
No. Do not. I don't think. Spoiler alert! Take either of you to Vegas on sports. Because Dan, you predicted with the Super Bowl that the Kansas Chiefs would not be going to win. That the Kansas City Chiefs would not win the Super Bowl.
I predicted that.
Yep.
I should have my Chiefs shirts burned.
Yep.
I am a traitor. I am so ashamed right now.
I'm ashamed too.
Yeah, well, you should be. Ashamed for me.
You specifically thought that the Super Bowl would be the Ravens versus the 49ers, and that the 49ers were going going to win. So
that wasn't a bad prediction.
Had I been drinking for the very first time in my life,
they were the two best teams in the regular season. Anyways,
you weren't drinking, but that was the episode when at one point you exclaimed at Ben that recreational marijuana is not legal in North Carolina, that he must be smoking something to say whatever he had said.
By the way, I'm so sick and tired of now living in an environment where I walk outside and I smell pot.
I can't smell it.
You can't smell pot?
I don't know what there is. Everybody's always say, do you smell that? Nope. With a schnoz like this, I should be able to smell it from a half a continent away.
I hate the smell of pot.
I don't even know.
God bless you, man.
Anyway, Dan.
But I can smell a cigar.
Dan also predicted, this was a little bit more complicated, but Dan predicted that women's sports would collapse as we know them.
I think it's on its way.
Or that
it's not as it's more popular than ever.
With the exception of the WNBA. But look at what's going on in San Jose State.
No. All right, listen. Caitlin Clark in the women's Olympic team, they got more views. Like, they're breaking records of views and popularity right now. Women's sports are.
Because of one person.
It doesn't matter. It's still true.
Josh, so Dan's prediction was that women's sports would collapse as we know them, or a trans league would be created. With something
that was a trans.
False.
Yeah.
It was a
trans league.
There'd be a trans league. So it's false. But I will. Here's like what has happened.
Too late. You already pressed the negative button.
The National Association. We're allowed to add nuance to this podcast. I can add more commentary after hitting the buzzer. The National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, or the NAIA, virtually banned transgender women from women's competitions in May of 2024.
Interesting.
So it's not that there's a trans league, but it was functionally a ban. And so specifically what it is factually, according to the transgender participation policy, all athletes may participate in NAIA-sponsored male sports, but only athletes whose biological sex assigned at birth is female and have not begun hormone therapy will be allowed to participate in women's sports. A student who has begun hormone therapy may participate in activities such as workouts, practices, and team activities, but not in interscholastic competition.
What about team showers?
I'm still going to give you... Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I don't have anything about that. I don't know.
But I also think this is going to become an even hotter issue because Trump made it a campaign issue. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next year.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
There is a case working its way up to the Supreme Court that could address it.
There is. It's true.
Yeah, I think it's true. I am concerned about just kind of, the last couple episodes, the way that we were talking about kind of a thing that we've noticed is kind of this increase in kind of like this kind of bro culture, bro vote thing. I am concerned about the way I see a lot of those people talking about people who are trans. I have friends who are trans, and the way that they are talked about in this debate,
that old pendulum,
I'm really concerned about. But yeah. So anyway, okay. And then finally, you had a few personal predictions, and I don't know what the answers are. You're going to have to tell me whether or not you accomplished these.
I know Dan's not dead. That was one of them.
So Ben, you predicted that you would run a race this year.
I've run, but I haven't run a race.
Okay, so we're gonna put no on that.
But wait,
I ran to the hot now sign at Krispy Kreme. Does that
year's not over, Josh. Give me a ding. Give me one little ding.
No dings. No dings. What? No dings. He's had 11 months.
The year's not over.
He's had 11 months.
That is true. The year is not over. So tell you what, why don't you come back December 31st, and you can give us a quick email. You can let us know.
I did it.
I mean, you might do it just to win the extra point. Like exactly. I could see you doing the race
just out of sheer vengeance.
Yeah.
Dan, and you had two personal predictions. So one was that you would either lose 20 pounds or die or have another heart attack.
Okay. So I lost 16 pounds.
Oh, you're so close. But we're very, very happy.
I'm proud of
for you.
Yeah, let's give Dan a hand losing 16 pounds.
So if I don't lose 4 more pounds in 4 more weeks, I'll be dead. Is that, or I'll have a heart attack?
No. Or that would be the prediction, but hopefully.
So if I'm dead, would you go ahead and give me a commemorative ding?
Oh, dude, we will celebrate when you die.
If you die from a heart attack, I will give you the full green sound effect. If you only die but not from a heart attack, It's just going to be a ding.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Just making sure you understand.
Just put a little bell on top of my casket and people can hit it once when they go by. And another obese man earns his wings.
Oh, gosh.
And one final prediction from you, Dan, was that you would start writing more. Tell me, did you start writing more?
No, that's a buzz.
We're sad to hear that.
Yeah, because, I had plans to write, and then my very, very dear friend and colleague just decided to up and abandon me and move to Michigan.
That's true. That did throw a wrench
and now I'm
in the
doing
works.
my work and a lot of his.
Some people write when they're in mourning.
He doesn't have time. We're prepping for a podcast
That was
without
true. I'd
you
have to
and
build
stuff,
my own
Ben.
wing on my house for my
You know what
library.
this episode has done for me? Let me tell you what this episode has done for me. It's made me feel like a loser. That's what this episode has done for me. I can't predict anything right, and I didn't achieve.
That's true.
So I think what I'm going to do for my predictions this year is I'm going to give a lot more, so I can I'm throwing more darts at the board.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be much more intentional. Things I can control.
I mean, it kind of depends on how you want to score it, because if you want to do the negative point for every false prediction you get, then that might not be the best score.
That is an interesting way.
Because now I think I've got the final score here, which would be that, Ben, you got one correct prediction to Dan's 2. You got 0 that I'm going to put like mixed partially right.
Yeah.
To Dan had 3 that we'll put in the kind of partially right.
I'm on a roll.
Just wait.
But Ben had 6 false to Dan's 9.
Yeah, but what's the N?
So Dan won.
The
Dan
total
won.
number.
Dan won.
Yeah, so
because if he gets a half
rolling out
point
more
for the
predictions.
partial,
Yeah, if you're gonna give it a half point for partials,
Dan
then
won this year.
I'm such a winner.
Yeah.
I'm
But
such a winner.
next year, well, I know I'm moving. Never mind.
Oh no! I mean, we can do this we can make
By
this
the
a
way,
tradition.
I just spent several $1,000s in equipment to be able to make it possible for you to call in.
Oh,
I did.
All right.
Yep, we're
Praise the
making
Lord.
It won't. It's not just about you. We're going to be.
I
bringing
bought
on
a
other
one-way
people,
ticket.
too.
I bought a one-way ticket to Traverse City on December 31st. So
Nice.
that felt weird.
He's leaving.
Sad.
So, anyways, I'm now, but I know that now that I know that you have equipment, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. We're just going to have to bring you on and just continue getting your predictions and outlook on life.
And the reality is, our listeners are like, this was like 3 episodes that were completely off the rail. I don't know how the response. They're going to love it or hate it.
I think they're going to love this one because the only comment under the YouTube version of the original prediction episode was someone saying, "This is my favorite episode so far."
Was it really?
Yeah. So I think this might actually be kind of a fun, recurring.
So we'll do another prediction.
Whether we do that again, it depends on the comments you put under this episode.
That's right.
Hey, thanks for listening to us at Life Talks. We always appreciate it. Share us if you would on your social media, if you dare. And as always, thanks for listening to us here at Life Talks.